Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tao and Amanda Live right here on Cash Alternative TV. Happy 2020. We're glad that you came to join us today. I'm Tao,
I'm Amanda. Happy 2020.
and we seem to have gotten our stuff together. So our OBS is working fine, and our internet connections are working fine. So hopefully you enjoy this format that we have going.
Yeah, it's only taken about 6 episodes for both of us to get our things together.
Yep. And here we are. So we're happy you joined us. Guess we're going to start off with the usual. How was your week, and how did you celebrate New Year's, Amanda?
Start out with the usual. Why would we ever want to do the usual on this show, Town? Now I can't even answer your question without feeling like I'm doing the usual. I mean, it's been New Year's, I just kind of skipped over, as I've told you, and I'm feeling glad about that because now I'm fresh faced and ready to talk about what we have on our agenda for today. But I hope you didn't stay up too late.
I did actually, because as we all know, well, some people might not know, I work at a casino, and I had to work until 6 in the morning. I got a few hours sleep, and here I am. So if I have red eyes and stuff, don't mind me. I'll still get the job done. But it was fun. It's fun to be around people that are drunk and when you're sober, but at least everybody's having fun, right? So it's good. We got regular.
If you're taking their money, it's fun.
Yeah, well, I don't get to see any of that, but yeah. But this one guy who was up like $5,000, and he just dumped it all back in within like 15 minutes. So yeah, it's like no, I don't want to be in that scene. I don't gamble myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, um, that reminds me of that meme. Remember that came out years ago? It was said something like, bro, I heard you like Bitcoin because you like to. I heard you like Bitcoin casinos because you like to gamble when you gamble, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, can we please move on before I say anything more embarrassing? Tao, what's first on the agenda today?
Well, today we're just talking about the year that was 2019 in crypto, and what our hopes are for 2020 in cryptocurrency and Dash also. So I guess I'll start. I think 2019 was a great year developmentally for Dash in particular, and it wasn't a very good year price wise, but I mean that everyone suffered that. And yeah, so I think what happened, like we're like working behind the scenes. We're not concentrating so much about the price. We just want our value proposition and what we stand for to be solid, and then the price will follow later. So I think that 2020 is going to be a good year for that. So what were your thoughts about 2019 before we move on to 2020?
My thoughts about 2019. Yeah, I mean, pretty much same as yours. I do have to say that if we're talking about Dash in particular, I do feel like we have reversed directions definitively. Um, I felt this way on Monday, and there was a confluence of events that caused it to happen. First, there was the recent completion of a Dash Treasury cycle in which the masternode owners and shareholders, at least in some way, seem to be going in a little bit different direction than they have been the past few years. Second thing that happened was that at the Dash Investment Foundation, we got an acceptance from an investment manager, and we will be making an announcement about that individual shortly. And then the third thing that happened was that Evolution Testnet was released by the Dash Core group. And so for these three things to happen in such a short period of time, I really got the sense that we did hit the end of a 2 to 3 year trajectory that we had been on, and we are now going, ever so slowly as it may be, we're now going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, very good, very good. You definitely have a different perspective on things because from being in the diff as well as other capacities in Dash, yeah, I'm very excited to hear that news that you guys have something cooking. I'm sure the rest of us are dying to understand, like dying to know what it is that you guys have cooking.
Well, don't die yet. You'll know soon enough.
Yeah, so that brings us into our forward, what we hope for in 2020, and for me, I just hope and when in Dash that it comes to Dash platform is what released and it's very solid with lots of dApps going to be created for it. We hopefully get a nice base of apps to use with like the Dash Pay wallet and maybe a few other ones that people enjoy using.
Yeah, so I really can't speak to any of that, and I'll mention this now and maybe later if it's relevant to Tao. But I went to the documentation page of the EvoNet, and silly me, I had been expecting, or maybe just hoping for like a graphical user interface. I guess that's not the case. So I've had nothing to do with testnet, and I can really make practically no comments upon it whatsoever.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think that basically like for people like us that are kind of dummies when it comes to that thing, like right now is not our time to shine. You know what I mean? Like it's for the developers that actually are making these dApps. Those are the ones that are getting to be are going to be having fun right now. You know. And I was talking to a guy, well, not talking, but I saw a comment on the Dash Nation Discord that there's going to be a general like a user interface for people like us that can actually attempt to test out the EvoNet too. So I don't know when that's coming, but it is coming soon. So that's good.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
So and that's not the only thing that I want for 2020. I also want to see better crypto regulation. I want to see more efforts from the industry in general to approach regulators and straighten them out on what crypto actually is and what it can actually do. You know, like some regulators have the wrong idea. They think, oh, this is going to like take over the U.S. dollar, which I can't see happening. I can see it existing alongside the U.S. dollar or other countries, right? Other countries' fiat money. But I think we have to have a greater talk with the regulators and shape that a little bit more. You know, be more proactive when it comes to shaping that message. Here in Canada, it's still pretty moldable, so I could probably do it here in Canada.
Well, Tao, nobody's stopping you from becoming a lobbyist.
Nope, nope. I know if I ever get away from my casino job and actually have more time to dive into it, yeah, I definitely would be interested in doing something like that. And I encourage
What
anybody
do we
who's
have?
watching this show, like in their countries, wherever you are, like, yeah, shoot your MP or whoever, whatever your representative is for your area, shoot them an email, talk about cryptocurrency, and tell them what's going on. You know, that's the only way we're going to be able to shape regulators' opinions in the future.
Hmm. But maybe also send them a paper wallet with like a bit of crypto on it so that they're automatically an
You're not
investor.
suggesting a bribery, are you, Amanda?
A gift! A gift!
So, yeah.
All right, what's next on the agenda,
All
Tao?
right, so I'm gonna shift over to our nifty little screen here. We're talking about the PIVX wallet today. I had somebody shoot me a message in the Discord saying PIVX is coming up with what they claim to be the most friendly interface and the most user-friendly interface ever. So I did check it out, and it is different. I'm not sure if it uses the QT, but it is a pretty interesting wallet. And but I will say one thing to the negative side. It takes forever to sync this wallet. It took me almost 3 days to sync it. And it definitely, with Dash, it's only like maybe a day or a little bit more than a day. So yeah, it's definitely
Okay, but
slow.
that's not what we're looking at now
No,
though, right? This is just your web
yeah,
page.
this is the page with the with the wallet UI. Like you can see it right there. This is the only one I could bring up on this view. So you can see that, well, it's purple, the colors of PIVX, and it has a few things along the left-hand side, and it definitely it has a lot more to look at than our GUI, like of the QT wallet. So I will give it that. I will give it that. It's definitely a good a good start when it comes to user interface. I haven't actually tried to test it out because I don't have any PIVX, but just from like looking at it, it looks pretty good like compared to our wallet. I think it has a lot more going on. It's a lot more like easier to look at type of thing.
Does anybody want to send Tao a gift of PIVX so that he can test out this wallet? Gifts
Yeah,
accepted
it doesn't
by
have to
Tao.
be too much, but I guess I would have to post my wallet for that. But I don't have a wallet address.
You can find it
Yeah,
later. Put it in the
I'll put it in the
comments.
comments later. Maybe some jolly PivXers might want to send me some so I can actually do something with the wallet. That'd be cool.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we have next then?
All right. So up next is you. You're gonna steal the spotlight for the next little while.
Oh, how's that?
We have that infamous tweet that you sent out. I'm just gonna pull it up 1 second.
Okay.
So this tweet it
Well,
says a fun thought, Bitcoin Dash, a blockchain merger between Bitcoin Cash and Dash. Two chains competing for the same market, which is payments. Bitcoin Cash has the better brand and Dash has the better tech. The two combined would form a payments super chain called Bitcoin Dash. Thoughts? Well, What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an idea that first came to me about a month ago, just about around Thanksgiving, and it I mean, it's not anything new. In fact, it's totally standard in markets for um, competitors to merge with each other because oftentimes it makes both of them better off, right? And you know, if you can't beat them, join them. And it's like, you know, if you have two people who are constantly like going after the same market, it's like, hello, let's combine our resources, cut down on overhead, and we're both better off. And so yeah, this happens in the real world all the time. And you know, why shouldn't that extend to crypto?
All right. Well, it's got quite a reaction on Twitter. There's a lot of people that disagree with some of your premises. So maybe you might want to defend what you're saying. Like they say that Dash is actually a better brand than Bitcoin Cash at this moment. Like, do you agree or you don't you obviously you disagree because you said that Bitcoin Cash is a better brand. Why would you say that Bitcoin Cash has a better brand?
Well, I'm basing that on two things. I mean, number one, just like market capitalization. I'm I'm assuming that market cap at this time of any coin is based potentially primarily on brand, right? And so if that assumption is true, then Bitcoin Cash obviously has the better brand according to the market right now. And then the second thing I'm basing that statement on is just, you know, the word Bitcoin. It's anytime anytime I talk to anybody who's not like deep in the crypto space, you know, the only word for crypto they know is Bitcoin. And for them, it's like Kleenex or like Band-Aid, you know, like it just all cryptos are Bitcoin to them. And so, you know, hey, like trying to put in a different word, it it's one more step, one more tax, one more challenge in the process. I'm not saying it's not overcomable. It's just an additional challenge to not have that word.
Okay. Well, you're not going to get any arguments from me about the tech aspect of it. That I think Dash definitely does have a better technology right now for to be payments. So it definitely would benefit Bitcoin
Ciao,
Cash in that
everybody's
way.
looking at me instead of looking at you.
Yes, yeah,
Shouldn't
you're
it be
right.
back on you?
I didn't do my job there. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still learning this OBS thing, and like I just said, I didn't have to do it last week. Yeah, so I think Dash does have the better technology, and I think that Bitcoin Cash would benefit from that. But yeah, I'm not too.
They would benefit massively. Did they not lose 400 merchants 2 weeks ago because of double spend attempts conducted on their network?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
that's definitely another thing to be talking about here. Yeah, but double spending is huge, and Dash has got that solved with chain locks and automatic instant send. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's a good idea. And as far as influential people, I guess you could say that Roger Ver is probably more influential than anybody in Dash right now. So that would be a helpful thing to have on our side. And then you have the usual trolls that are saying, "Oh well, both coins are scams." So it's definitely there's going to be a lot to overcome there if it actually happens. But and also I don't know. Did you talk to anybody who said how it would actually happen? Because I'm kind of not sure how that would actually work out.
I have contacted Roger Ver about the idea, so directly. So you know, in case he missed that tweet, he does know about the idea. And so it's not something that I am actively pursuing right now. It's rather an idea that I think is worthy of discussion and just the broader discussion of blockchain mergers in general, especially given the fact that you know this network, this low functioning network, Bitcoin, still holds what, like 60 to 70%, you know, market dominance. I mean, to me, it just makes a lot of sense for a lot of us smaller competitors to combine our strengths as we, you know, move against this overwhelmingly large force of, you know, Bitcoin dominance. It's like, you know, if that's what we're up against, and it seems to be, it's what, like 10 years strong of Bitcoin dominance right now. So that's a while. That's a lot to overcome. And so I'd just like there to be an openness and there to be a discussion around, okay, well, as we're moving against, this behemoth, this Goliath within the crypto market, might it not make sense for us to look to our competitors in terms of how we could benefit one another, as opposed to, oh, let's keep on forking and forking and forking and forking into oblivion until, everything that's not Bitcoin is separated into 1,000 different camps. You know what it reminds me of? I was watching Game of Thrones yesterday. Remember how Mans Rada is like hugely awesome because he got these 90 different warring tribes of wildlings to like come together and act as one, like against the Night's Watch, and like it's the only way they have a chance. And so maybe we'll come to see that maybe to some extent that's true in the cryptosphere going forward as well.
Yeah. I do agree with you in the sense that there are way too many cryptocurrencies. Yeah, like I do think that some of them will probably die off on their own. But yeah, I do think that if there's going to be competition, there consolidation might be inevitable. Like I do see that aspect of it. There's going to be a lot of people in different camps that might not be happy about it. And in Dash, if we decided to go that way, we did the masternodes vote, and then that's it. But how do you see Bitcoin Cash proceeding in that situation? Because they don't have that kind of governance that we do. They probably
They
would create another
don't.
fork, don't you think?
Well, I mean, I think Bitcoin Cash, the network, is so beholden to Roger Ver and Roger Ver's business partners for covering all of their development costs and for engaging in all of their marketing and business development that I think that if Roger Ver and his associates were to be on board with something, I think the hyper majority of the network would, even if they were like vocally opposed to it, I think, push came to shove, they would still update to the merged software if Roger encouraged them to, because they are so dependent upon him for all of those things that I mentioned.
Yeah. So pretend that I'm Bitcoin Cash. You're representing Dash. I'm Bitcoin Cash. Just quickly, because I know we're going to talk about EvoNet soon. What do you think we should do for concessions? Like who has to give what? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I think Bitcoin Dash is a terrible name. So I think we would have to work on something when it comes to that. But I think that technology-wise, then probably Bitcoin has a lot to give to us, and we have a lot to give to them. But who do you think is going to have to make concessions in that scenario? And
Well, so there are different kinds of concessions to be made, right? So in a merger, technically speaking, it has to be decided which tech do we use. And because Dash already has pretty much all of Bitcoin's Cash's tech, but then lots more on top, there the tech aspect would need to be Bitcoin Cash agreeing to upgrade its tech. And when I say upgrade its tech, the reason that Dash has better tech for payments than Bitcoin Cash is primarily because of masternodes, right? Masternodes are what enable instant respendability so that there aren't these double spend attempt issues. And masternodes are what enable immunity to 51% attacks. And furthermore, masternodes are what enable coin mixing to live on the protocol level. So that one doesn't have to worry about the availability or uptime of like cash shuffle servers or I forget exactly what it's called on their network. And so all of these things that make the payments aspect so much better, those are enabled by masternodes. And so that would be the main concession for the Bitcoin Cash side to make, which is to agree like, hey, yeah, we need to adopt masternodes if we want to, be instantly respendable at the point of sale and get rid of all of these double spend things that are haunting us. And then on the Dash side, the concessions would be to agree to take on the branding of Bitcoin Dash, and like I'm imagining that the merger would involve transferring, all of the online presence and all of the digital assets to like, hey, Bitcoin.com, like this web domain that Roger Ver had the foresight to buy what, like 7 years ago or something, 6 years ago, and he's turned it into a fantastic website. He has like a buy Bitcoin Cash button right on the website. You type in your credit card, what you bought gets deposited. I think you can have it deposited even right into your web wallet there on Bitcoin.com. It's just a fantastic user experience that's couched under that branding of Bitcoin.com. And then in terms of concessions that both sides would need to make, I mean, I think that would be the question of, okay, who comprises the primary development team? You know, who speaks on behalf of Bitcoin Dash? Who's our leader or our leaders in this new merger?
Okay. I can clearly see that you've done a lot of thinking about this, and it's definitely something that you feel passionately about. So whether or not you agree with what it is that you're saying or not, it's definitely you can definitely respect you for actually like your thought processes moving forward. So yeah, I don't know. There's some things that I don't really think is good. I think Dash can survive on its own, but it's definitely an interesting thought to think about.
Well, and I also think that Dash can survive on its own. I'm not talking about a life or death scenario. I'm talking about, if we're currently going X number of miles per hour, is there something we could do that makes us go X plus 10 miles per hour, right? So it's a matter of degrees of speed, not a we live or we die thing for me.
Okay. So on that note of Dash being able to compete on its own, we're gonna have to go into Dash stuff right now because I'm definitely very excited about the latest release of EvoNet, which is Dash platform on testnet. That's something that I can really do right now because I'm not really technically minded, but I'm very excited about the possibilities, and I guess we're going to talk a little bit about that right now, right, Amanda?
Right, Tao?
Awesome. So what do you see Dash platform being like the whole Dash ecosystem moving forward? Like how do you think that Dash platform is going to help us? And why should developers be excited about helping us and getting in on the ground floor of this thing?
Well, I want to and need to, and have been a little already, understand developers, like what that term means, to understand it better. Because, ask me a year ago, what's a developer? Uh, I thought that was more or less someone who was like a hobbyist. Okay. And now, only more recently, as I've been asking around, since the imminent release and now active release of EvoNet, I've been asking people, what is a developer? Like paint the picture of this person for me. Where does he work? Where does his income come from? What level of latitude does he have in picking what kinds of platforms he works with and doesn't? Because that to me is the most important thing in terms of what you and I do, Tao, which is explain or do outreach. I have to understand my audience before I can talk to them. And so I think what would really behoove me most is just like to meet a segment, a slew of people who call themselves developers. Because, yeah, I want to know, do you work on contract work? Or are you employed full time by a corporation? Basically, what are your incentives and motives and freedoms and restrictions so that I even know how to talk to you? Because until then, I'm not really sure, Tao.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard for us, the types that are more like not really very technically minded, to relate to the people that are technically minded. It's like for us, like the Dash open house was kind of dry, and we found some parts boring. But maybe for the developers that are into this stuff, maybe that they found it like they're like kids in candy stores, right? So yeah, we have to be more understanding of that of the different types of people that are involved in Dash. But I really, as far as why I'm excited about the Dash platform coming out, and I'm excited to get started on these apps. Like I envision Dash platform eventually becoming like an Apple App Store, where you have so many different things that you can access, and all from a decentralized API. It's very exciting. Like I know for the end user, there's somebody who's not like us that probably doesn't care about the technology. it's just the same thing as an app store, right? Who cares if it's decentralized? But it's just the fact that humanity's reached this point where we could do this is exciting to me. How about you?
Yes, when I was looking through the documentation of EvoNet, how it said like, okay, so like here's, DAPI, the decentralized API, and then here's the this, and here's how you connect to the network, like using the DAPI. I mean, even not being a developer, I'm thinking to myself, that sounds pretty good, like the world's first decentralized API, that's insane. And then like being able to, store your logic for your business's app, say it's an app to, I don't know, a shopping app, right? Like buy or like a subscription app, like subscribe to our news publication and pay with Dash via this DApp. And yeah, I mean, I can't, I guess I can't. Okay, so if one does not have a DAPI to work with, how did they have to do these things in the past?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Get yourself back on camera,
Yeah,
Tao.
that's a good
All
question.
right, so
I'll get to that.
so if you, yeah, so if you don't have a DAPI, then that means what? You have to your employer has to purchase the API of like a third party service, and then that's what lets you talk to the crypto network in question. That's the way it works, right?
I believe so. Yeah, like
Yeah,
we can get some people commenting down below, see if they can help us out on that one,
yeah,
because sometimes we
yeah,
struggle with these things.
yeah. Well, so no, I mean, then automatically that gives the developer like so much more freedom because let's say, hey, his employer, the developer's employer, has not yet bought into the idea that it could be a good thing to bring Dash dApps into, the technology stack of the business. But if the DAPI is open source, free, ready to be used, any passionate developer can, draw up a solution and present it to his employer and be like, "Hey, this is what I was talking about. Would you try it out? Because I think maybe you didn't give this as much attention as it needed," and that gives us, a substantial leg up compared to in the past if the only way that the developer could get access to, say, like the Dash API was if his employer first chose to subscribe and pay for that API service. And so, yeah, this automatically takes down a barrier for any curious developers to start trying things out, whether or not their employer has yet signed on to the idea.
Perfect. So if you are a developer out there that's watching this show, I don't have it right now, but I will very shortly. Like as soon as we get off the air, I'm going to put the link that you need to have to access our documentation to get started with EvoNet. That if you are a developer type and you're interested in that stuff, it's definitely a good thing to do to help us out. You know, you're getting in on the ground floor of something pretty cool. So we'll leave that in the description below. Thanks for helping us out.
And Tao, and from what I understand, also Tao, aren't Dash dApps also like compatible with like Ethereum apps and EOS apps? Is that what I've
This
read?
is something that I want to tread lightly on because I'm not sure if you can actually run like smart contracts with Dash. I think it's something to do with like Oracle for a smart contract. But yes, I know that it's compatible, but I'm just not sure to what extent it's compatible. And that's another thing. If you're a developer who's involved with Dash, you might want to comment down below because I'm not sure exactly of the extent of the compatibility there.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
And I don't want to overstep and say, well, yes, you can do that smart contracts. Of course you can, and then you can't. So I don't want to be like false advertising. You know what I mean? All right.
Totally.
All right. So do you have anything else to add? I have one more thing to add because Cash Alternative TV is growing. Rod Ambrisi is might know him from Dash Brazil. He's going to be doing two new shows on Cash Alternative TV. One is Crypto Mundo. It's going to be English and Spanish Dash news. And the other one is a decentralized debate where he can get like as many as 8 people together and have a moderated debate about any topic. And we're thinking of starting maybe with the POW versus POS debate that's going on. So yeah,
Wow,
just keep an eye out for that. That's pretty interesting.
that sounds insane. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching both of those, particularly the debate one. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good ideas. So yeah, the more people you add to the team, sometimes the more better ideas that come about. So we're happy about that.
Well, great. Well,
Yeah,
congrats.
that's all for us today on Tao and Amanda Live. Thanks very much for joining us. As you can see here, we got a new fancy contact us screen. You can find us on Twitter at TauAmandaLive and on Instagram at TauAmandaLive. And look for us on the Dash Nation on Discord. And we're going to be on the Tau Amanda Live channel where we're going to go right now where we can talk to you.
Yep, sounds good. Talk to you there.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.